So we've taken some time to get to know you. That sounds fantastic, and your approach to things sounds brilliant because it sounds sustainable, it sounds positive, it sounds proactive, it sounds great. So let's just take some time. We'll start with yourself, Ruth, and that's it. Jackie wants to hear from you as well. Let's take some time to think about and talk about, some of these problems, because we hear about problems about phones, we hear problems about being physically active, stress, anxiety, medication. There's a whole list of things we could talk about. Can you just tell me, Ruth, from your way of looking at things, what are some of these problems that people are facing in the workplace, but also in their lives?
I think a lot of problems that people are facing is that they think that they've not got time to do things, they've not got time to be healthy, not got time to be able to make healthy food and make healthy meals. It's sort of, there is time, you can make time to do it, it's just sort of being more organised, get a bit of time management. And also a lot of the problem is people think about the cost and think it's expensive to be healthy. But if we discussed previously, it doesn't necessarily need to be. So a lot of it's people's kind of attitudes towards it, and also to me, I think there's so many mixed messages out there. Every time you open the paper, every time you sort of put the telly on, 1 minute you shouldn't be eating red meat, next minute you should be eating red meat, 1 minute you shouldn't be eating saturated fats, next minute the butter's better for you. People just don't know what to do. It's just there's so much confusion going on. I think when people don't know what to do, they just don't bother. They give up.
Yeah, almost like information overload.
Yeah, people get overwhelmed. I mean, I've worked with clients in the past that want to lose weight, and they've actually gone to see a personal trainer, and the personal trainer says to them, well, you should be eating this much protein, this much carbohydrate, weighing stuff out, and they're just like, I don't know what to do.
Just a bit
and it's
much.
just like, just keep it simple, keep it basic. So I think people are just like overwhelmed, like say information overload, and sort of and then they sort of thinking, like say the cost, they've got the time, and we live in a busy society. There's no doubt about it, but it's kind of prioritising and just kind of again realising that it isn't sort of about keeping it simple. It's not making it complicated.
So that's, I mean, if you think about what you just said, it's a scary picture, isn't it? So somebody, who's thinking, right, I'd love to look after myself, but I can't afford it. I haven't got the time to do it, and I don't actually know what to do. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I was trying anything that I felt like that, you wouldn't feel particularly empowered, would you?
You wouldn't even start.
No, you wouldn't start because
I'll just go for McDonald's and anyway.
I'll probably go for McDonald's.
So would you say, Jackie, that's an issue, that the readiness of certain foods or the readiness of certain things that aren't good for us? Yeah.
Like buy one get one free. It's sort of the temptation's there, isn't it? And also we are kind of like going down that route. Like we go out for meals, people look more readily available cheap food. Our lifestyle's completely changed, so we're not as active as we used to be. We sort of all got automatic washing machines, we all sort of drive everywhere that we go, a lot of jobs always sat down. Like I say, our portion size have increased. We go out for meals, like we eat out a lot more often, and because of that we get used to the size of the portions that we have when we go out, and that's normal, so we're then cooking those after portion sizes at home. So together, less active eating more, it's going to sort of lead on to the problems. And over the last sort of about 20-30 years, there's been an increase in things like cancer, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, high blood pressure, cholesterol, due to these factors.
And it's not even because there's two types of diabetes, aren't there? It's not even the type that you can genetically inherit. You can't do anything about that. This is type 2, which you develop through lifestyle choices.
You're getting young children the age of 8 developing diabetes. When you start getting when you get kids, it is. There's something wrong. Something needs to change to stop that from happening.
So that's on the physical side. So people, more overweight or less active. And again, we're not saying there's any blame attached to this. We're just saying these are the facts. It
is the way that sort of life moved on.
Yeah, so that's on the physical side. So Jackie, would you be able to expand a bit on that, on the mental side? So of course, you've got somebody who's through no fault of their own or through particular life choices or a combination of both, in a place where they don't want to be physically. But as I'm sure you know, if we kept that positive mindset we talked about before, well, that's going to improve. But it's also the mental side, isn't it? The way people look at their situation.
So I think you get on a hamster treadmill, I always call it, you get up in the morning, you take the kids to school, and you go to work, you come back, you've got all the housework to do, and that's just normal life on a treadmill. But then you get something else that throws in, illness, for example, which really sets you back. It might not be you, it might be a member of your family. And especially as you get older, you have maybe your parents are getting older, so you've got to look after them. There's so many more responsibilities that people have, and it gets overload. People get overwhelmed. And so you've got anxiety, you've got depression, and you know it's through no fault of anybody's. And also, you know, people can't afford. They see somebody else, and the magazines and the TV programs show all these amazing holidays, and they show all these people having a fantastic time and looking fantastic.
Yeah, all the time.
And watching it while eating chocolate.
Crying.
That'll be me one day. And you just, you know. And it gets you. And I think a lot of people, and it doesn't matter whether you have a lot of money or you don't have a lot of money, a lot of people get on that treadmill. You know, more and more people who do have lots of money, but they're working 80 hours a week, and that is a real fact. That's really happening. And so they're not in a better position because they've got more money, and they just don't have the time, to think about eating healthily, so they won't have a lunch break. They will grab a sandwich or grab a McDonald's or whatever, and have that. That's regular diet for them. That's not just a treat. That's regular diet. And even if we are following a very healthy diet, our food source is not good now, especially in the Western world, because the wheat, we get most of our wheat in this country from America, and it is now well known that they spray the fields and the soil with chemicals. So our wheat that makes bread is full of chemicals. It's all very scary, really. And the more and more research I do, you recognise that, you know, we've got to be proactive now. We've got to think, okay, our food source has been poisoned, actually. And that's a lot of children's foods with, you know, the adverts on TV, you see children's food, they're eating chicken nuggets. There's nothing wrong with chicken nuggets if they're done healthily, but quite often they're not. So we naturally think that's what we should feed our children. And my kids will only eat smiley faces or whatever.
That's what they used to.
They probably will. No, I'm not eating. I'm not eating that green stuff. You hear it all the time.
It becomes almost alien to see something
you
that's
know,
not.
because my friends at school don't eat it, so I'm not going to eat it.
Absolutely.
And that is a problem. And because your life's so busy, I think you just want your kids to eat. So you will give them unhealthy food. Without really knowing that it is unhealthy. So there are very simple methods that you can use to try and change that, but that takes everybody, and that's not just me and Ruth or you, Michael, or anybody else who's on the same journey as us. That's everybody. We've got to start thinking, actually, you know, if we don't do something now, you know, even though we've got all this medicine, we've got all these things that help us have an easier life, supposedly, actually life has become not easier, it's become more difficult.
So I'd say, listening to what you both said there, picking up on kind of three things. The first is individual responsibility and understanding and self-awareness about all these issues. And the second is also maybe kind of collective responsibility, because like you say, you know, it's no good one person doing something if nobody else is kind of, you know, helping them, working together. But also I'd say it's to have that kind of mental clarity to kind of see through things. So for example, to say, you know, we're sat down at a table here, indoors, heated. 100 years ago we wouldn't have been doing this. So it's that ability to kind of say, well, just because things are the way they are now, they'll be different in the future, and they were different in the past, and we can, you know, we can shape that.
We're in a position to make a change. We don't have to accept what there is. We don't have to be a victim. Everybody's responsible for their own actions. So we can change it.
So we've got the opportunity. And we've got. It's not about having more time, more money, more resources. It's more about taking the way that you look at it and being willing and able.
Recognising what's going on,
Mm.
and you know, start actually thinking for ourselves. And that's quite difficult when you've got TV, you've got Google, you've got internet. There's so much different information, like Ruth said before. But you know, the facts are very, very simple. And I strongly believe things are changing. People in the Western world are recognising you've got...
Realising we need to change,
Yeah.
because if we don't change, we're going to... I saw a fantastic advert a couple of years ago. It was advertising in one of the broadsheet papers, and it showed a lot of fat kids on the thing, and it was just the advert was, today's obesity problem solves tomorrow's pension problem, which actually it hits it
You don't
hard.
even think, but they're linked together, aren't they?
Yeah, you need
get
that hit of the
fat
head.
kids, it's like they're not going to live old enough to get a
Yeah.
pension.
Yeah.
People are kind of realising that we do need to change it. We are, and not just that, but it's sort of it's the quality of life. It's all right saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, can live to 80," but I mean,
What kind of life are you going
when
to
I
live?
worked,
to your age?
when I worked in the NHS, a lot of people, because with the obesity, they've got arthritis, like I say, all the kind of autoimmune diseases. They're in pain. They're in pain every day.
So they may live till they're 80, 90, but they might spend the last 20 years
it's over.
actually being in pain and not having a quality of life.
And not being able
Nobody wants that.
No,
and not being able to do the
absolutely.
things that they want to do.
Yeah.
Again, as a coach, I've worked with clients that their goal, their motivation, is they want to be fit and healthy to be able to play their grandkids. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's been wanting to do those
Yeah.
everyday things,
Yeah.
and people are realising that if that's what they want to do, they've got to make the changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's a serious issue, serious set
Really
set of issues, but
but it's a simple method.
but we can solve it.
Absolutely.
Easy. Yeah.
Good.
Very easy, yeah.
If you guys enjoyed this video and want to find out more, I'm here on kataholos.co.uk, so click on the link below and you can see here's our values, and you can either subscribe to our newsletter and become one of our subscribers, or you can click on the 10-week course to go to learn more. There it is, gives you all the information you need.